Well, good morning all, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. Today I am down at the NEC for the annual NEC Classic Car Restoration Show 2025 edition. There are, I think, 3 halls packed with interesting old cars. Some of them are restored, some, like this incredibly rare rotary engined Mazda Cosmo, are yet to be restored, but I'm sure before long this will be looking immaculate again. Yeah, what an incredible car. Very, very rare anywhere, let alone here in the UK. I seem to remember seeing a restored one of these a year or two back here, also at the NEC. What a treat. And I'm a bit of a sucker for old barn find type cars, so I think we're going to be in for a very, very interesting day indeed. Next to the Mazda, a very, very dusty Lamborghini Countach. It's still fairly early doors. It's not fully open yet, the event, so it's going to get a lot busier than this. I've had a bit of a sighting lap here in hall, I think this is hall 5, I think. So I've had a bit of a mooch around. But yeah, let's start having a proper look and see what is here. Many, many signatures on the back here. It's amazing what's still lying around in people's garages and sheds and barns. Obviously there's going to be a bit of everything here, modern classics, some modern cars, some fully restored, some unrestored. We will, as always, prioritise, I say we, me and the camera, we always prioritise the older cars while showing a little bit of everything. But yeah, what a treat to see this Mazda before we even started. Let's carry on over here, and here we have an immaculate, somewhat modified but glistening Vauxhall Chevette. Not everything is as it at first appears. This one has a twin cam MX-5 engine, and it actually looks like it's a very good fit indeed. Actually, loads of space there. Quite the tubular manifold there, a bunch of bananas. Not too many Chevettes that are this immaculate looking. I'll try and feature as many cars as I can. Lots of immaculate XR Fords here. The sporty Fords on the XR Owners Club. An immaculate XR2 Mark 1 there. Ford Sierra XR4i and 2.8 V6. As you watch this video, make a note, a mental note, of any cars that particularly float your boat, and let me know in the comments which cars would be the ones for you. There are 2 big classic car shows held at the NEC every year. There's a biggie in November, which I think there are about 5 halls. This one I think is 3 halls, so it's slightly easier on the feet, but if you're planning on coming to the NEC for either of the classic car shows here, I recommend good footwear. This is a Matra Murena. Quite novel in that it has 3 abreast seating. Another car that had that feature was, of course, the McLaren F1, but that in those the driver sat in the centre, whereas on these left-hand drive cars the driver sits to the side and the 2 passengers cosy up over there. Very novel car indeed, Matra. Very unusual French car. And talking of very unusual French cars, on the same stand we have this incredible Talbot Matra Rancho. Wow, what a thing. Despite appearances these weren't 4x4s, but you do wonder if the design of these did influence Land Rover and the early Discovery, especially with this sort of raised bit of roof just here. Very, very rare car now. There's a bit of a work in progress. We've got a temporary support in here just to prop up the A-pillar while some pretty significant repairs are going on in the hinge area. But what a rarity. Yeah. It's great that so many cars are going to be here as found. Still dusty, rusty, and just a little bit crusty. plenty to do here. Another work in progress Matra Marina over here. I remember there used to be someone who lived not far from where we were back in the early 1980s, and they had a white one of those. And we'll look at this fantastic little commercial variant here of the Simca. And who doesn't love a classic van or a pickup? I know I do. It's an incredible condition, quite a high roof line with the tilt on the back, the cover over the pickup bed. So by this point in time they were badged up as Talbot. It's on the Coventry registration plate, about 1984. That is pretty cool. That's one of the good things about this event, is you do see vehicles that certainly I don't see anywhere else. You get people coming from all over. Wow, look at this. This one's led a bit of a life. A little classic Simca. Honda engine. If you want to pause the video, you can read a little bit more about this. But yeah, much modified. So of course rear engine these are. And there we are, tucked away in the tail there. And over here, looking a bit closer to being roadworthy, is a very rare Simca 1000. I think this is a 1000 Sport. There's quite a few classic French cars here today. I can see some 2CVs and Citroen Amis in the distance as well, so I'm certainly going to look forward to seeing those. But yeah, wow, just starting to get just a little bit busier now. And here, wow, this is a Simca Aronde, and not just any Simca Aronde. Most of the ones you see, and you don't see them all that often, are saloons and occasionally the odd pickup. But this is the very rakish coupe, the Plein Ciel. Now if my O-level French is up to muster, I think that means, is that clear sky? I think that's probably what it means. What an incredible car, bit of shades of T-Bird about the front, and the roof, this looks so similar to the Facel Vega, and I believe the coachwork on these cars was either by Facel or at least undertaken by the same people who did the coachwork on the Facel Vega. I don't quite remember which, but I know there is a link. The window is open. Let's just carefully pop the camera in there. What a stylish dash. Very, very stylish car indeed. I love these wheel trims. I think I've seen this car before, possibly Weston Park, a big classic car show down at Weston Park, held probably a couple of times a year, I think. I seem to remember videoing this sort of car identical to it a little while back. Yeah, that's very swish indeed. We'll be hunting out the rarities. Why do I keep saying we? I'm not sure. Probably I'm used to being with my youthful assistant, but he's not here today. It's just me flying solo. It's an Audi 200. Handsome car. From a time when different Audi models looked very, very different to each other, which isn't something you can always say nowadays. They all look like the same thing, but just different sizes. An immaculate Quattro there, the four-wheel drive, 5-cylinder Quattro. Audi 80, I think. Looks to be in very original condition. So we're on the club Audi stand. So that kind of makes sense. Oh, it's an Audi 100, this one. Yeah, it's a very handsome looking car. Oops. The tannoy is ablaze. Well, it's officially open now, so the doors will be opening at the entrance, and many people will be visiting this show. They'll start pouring in. We're on the Renault stand now. The only real old car on the Renault stand is this lovely Renault 5 Turbo. Of course, Renault 5s are very much in the news at the moment with the recent launch of the Renault 5 EV for the 21st century. No 4 CVs though. Right, let's carry on. One of the tricky parts about visiting NEC is working out which route to take. There's so much packed in to the halls here, you don't know whether to go up and down there or up and down there, or so you just kind of figure it out as we go along. Quite a few of the BMW era minis over here, and the Ford Racing Puma. So these were the hotted up versions with a much wider bodywork compared to your regular Ford Pumas. Very collectible cars now with these really flared arches. They really do look the part, but you have to have a very good close look at these if you're planning on buying one. I believe the flared outer wings and arches are over the top of the originals, and the originals are quite prone to rusting, so you have to have a very good look indeed. There's a bit of a project car here, a bit of a restoration project. Good to see one of these. Plenty of work going on down the bottom down there, and also the sills. Sure, this time next year it'll be all back together and looking hunky-dory. Right. Yeah, we'll head over there a little bit later. We'll just amble in this general direction. We've got Capri 280 group. So this is a club just for the run-out editions of the famous Ford Capri. Lots of memorabilia, many stalls here selling everything you could possibly wish to buy, memorabilia, spare parts, and all that sort of thing. Is this a Plymouth? This is the Sporting Bears area where rides in classic cars and sports cars are available, raising money for many worthy causes, and Sporting Bears have been doing this for a very long time indeed. Wowzers. So what year is this? 1948 Plymouth. What a spectacular machine that is. Pima County Sheriff's Department. So you've got the siren on the front fender there. Plymouth. Closely related to Dodge, which we've got a couple of examples of back at Old Classic Car HQ. Left-hand drive, as you would expect. What a machine. Special Deluxe of 1948. What a magnificent lamp on the top.
You're going to stay like that, are you?
A bit of info here, we like a bit of info. 1948 Plymouth P15, 3.7 litre straight 6 flathead. So it's a very similar engine to our 47 pickup. Current owner since October 2020, imported into the UK from Las Vegas. That's pretty cool. And it is not alone, we've got a New York Police Department here, Crown Vic I believe. Listening over yonder, we have a bit of Americana in the shape of a Chevrolet panel van. That's pretty cool, early 1960s. So what would that be, about 64? Something of that era. The slightly early ones had the wraparound screens. This has got the more conventional screen and door opening. left-hand drive as well. Beautiful paint job. And sat on the floor, we have a somewhat modified, what used to be a Ford Pop. Slammed on the deck, made into a pickup. Right, and over here, a lovely old Ford pickup truck with the biggest set of wheels we'll probably see today. It's gone for the patina look, and quite the engine there, supercharged LT4. You'll have to fill me in with what that engine is, but it certainly looks big. But even though it's a huge engine, it's lost under the even huger engine bay. So you can fit pretty much any power plant in there, such as the space in this old Ford. We've got a hot rod here, the 32 Ford 3-window coupe. It's got a 440 Chrysler big block. By gum. Again, all engine. Here we have a 71 Ford 100 with the fleet side style of rear pickup bed. Some smooth sides continuing the lines of the main body. Earlier pickups tended to have the step side where you have the separate rear mudguards, etc., but these were a lot sleeker. And by this point in time, American trucks, they were really trying to make them car-like to drive, make them comfortable, and that is why pickup trucks became, and still are, so popular. There we go, 5th generation F-Series, 71 Ford F100. Immaculate in there. Very nice trunk over there. I do like that. Right. GT40. That's a 1989 build replica of the famous GT40. 40 because the original race cars built to take on Ferrari at Le Mans stood a whopping 40 inches high off the ground. So as you can see, I'm towering over this low-slow machine. What an incredible car they are. Just amazing. But talking of amazing, if you saw the video I put out not that long ago, just a week or so back, I was looking at a 1919 Thornycroft lorry on solid rubber tyres, and here, this is a Gary from 1922. Let's just have a quick look at this. I've never heard of Gary before. A 5-ton truck company, started in 1916 in Gary, Indiana. Finally ceased trading in 1926. This is a 5-ton model, 4-cylinder, 30 horsepower petrol engine, 4-speed gearbox, solid rubber tyres, top speed of 15 to 18 miles per hour. Wowzers. We've got a nice Shell 2-gallon petrol can there. Yeah. Look at the tyre on that. I've never seen a solid rubber tyre that wide on that Thornycroft that I was looking at just a week or two back. It had a pretty wide setup, but it's twin wheels, so 2 quite narrow wheels. But I've never seen solid rubber tyres that wide before. So not much in the way of weather protection, or indeed instrumentation. What an amazing thing. Lovely Lucas King of the Road lamps there. Wow. Everything you need and nothing else. Right, and over on the corner of the same stand we have this Ford Cortina Mark III with a 3-litre V6 engine. So it's not something you see every day under the bonnet of a Mark III Ford Cortina. Got a rally chopper, happy memories of owning one of those. Certainly going to get pretty busy over in the Sporting Bears area before long. Got an Audi R8 here with a V10. A Maserati Quattroporte 4 doors. Over here we have the Mini Kit Club, which I'm guessing means mini-based kit cars. This is a Status 1970s wedge based on mini running gear. Fine set of Dunlop wheels on there. Reminds me very much of my late uncle's old Cox GTM in the 1970s. He had a set of these Dunlops on his car. The only part remaining of that is the logbook, an old MOT, and one of these wheel centres. It's the only thing that remains of that particular GTM. Wonder if we'll see any GTMs here today. Pretty wild Metro 6R4 alike over here. All sorts of vehicles, lots of different shapes and sizes. There's the transverse A-series engine. A very neat compact unit, the gearbox underneath. Nice and easy to work on, certainly a lot easier than a regular Mini, I would have thought. There's a scamper there. Let's carry on around here. Something that looks remotely similar to a Mini is this. I'll have to have a look at this, see what it is. Domino Premier mini-based kit car, body by Fibertech of Southampton. It's got a 998cc A-series engine, this one, with an auto gearbox. Wowzers. Wonder what those seats came out of. Yeah, very familiar driving position there for anyone used to driving classic Minis, and indeed the Metro was pretty similar as well. Yeah. A nice pile of auxiliary gauges there. Yeah, pretty cool. Looks like a giggle. Right, let's carry on over here. Lots and lots of car clubs are exhibited today. We've got a Toyota here. What's this? A Corolla GT Coupe. Rare sight. Let's have a quick peer inside. Zippy behind the wheel. Anyone who used to watch Rainbow, the TV, kids TV program in the 1970s, will recognise him. What a rare machine. That's pretty rare sight now. Got a Mark II Ford Escort over here. Is this a Harrier or? I'm not sure, but a nice set of stripes on it. Lovely set of RS alloy wheels as well. And a classic Saab, the Saab 96. So this one on an H plate about 1970. By this point in time, Saab had switched to the Ford of Cologne V4, very compact engine, replacing the old two-stroke engine. Pretty neat installation. It's a very compact engine indeed. Not to be confused with the V4 Ford engine that was fitted here in the UK to the likes of the Corsair. That was a different engine. This is the German Ford engine. It's got one of those old car trays there on the seat. One of those clip-on HP car trays that you wind your window down, clip it on there, and you can put your cup of tea on it if you're feeling brave. Yeah. All the cleaning products. Hey, oh, you're putting it down. Oh, splendid. Yeah, that's very nice indeed. What a great looking car that is. And it's got one of those stick-on Yeah, it's got one of those stick on the rear window demisters. Some pretty incredible VW based kit cars over here. Like I say, let me know in the comments which cars would be yours. Would you go for a project like this one here? Or would you go for something restored where all the hard work has been done, such as this example over here? There is that Toyota Corolla, very, very rare sight. There's Zippy still behind the wheel. And if we amble over in this general direction, in the corner of Hall 5, we have the Rover P6 Club. And I know that's because there are loads and loads of Rover P6s. This is a 35S, a 3500S, a manual gearbox. Well, this one has an automatic gearbox, but usually when you see 3500S, it means manual. By the way, the Rover 3.5 litre V8 engine under the bonnet of that beauty. Never seen reflectors like that before. Interesting thing, this is a California spec car, so maybe that explains the automatic gearbox. 1970, and that's where the optional spare wheel mounting kit would be installed on the back. Someone was kind enough to send me a American spec P6 sales brochure a little while ago, and it had an ice sensor on the front, and here it is. This is the first time I've ever actually seen one of these things. The Celert, I think it's called Ice Alert, there we go. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah, that was a standard fitment on the American market P6, an ice warning detection system. So that's pretty cool. Got all the air intakes as well on the bonnets, keeping that 3.5 litre engine cool. Yeah, it's really cool to see. I've never seen one of those ice alerts before. We've got a list of the differences here. Federal model, it's got the 3 air scoops on the bonnet, which you can see over there. The outer two cool the engine, the middle one feeds the air conditioning. Blacked out grille, side marker lights, side impact protection bars, electric windows front and rear, under bumper indicators, door pockets, tinted glass, and there you go, the ice alert with aircon being an optional extra. Yeah, very cool car indeed, that is. Got another V8 alongside it. Hey, ooh, the door has been opened. Hey, let's go and have a look. Be rude not to, wouldn't it? So this one's yours, is it?
No, this is one of my dad's customers' cars.
Oh, is
so
it?
The car originally was down in London, and it lived down there for a number of years. It was serviced in Surrey. It went to the fourth owner who had the car for many, many years, and eventually sold it. It belongs to the current owner now, who's done a full restoration on it, done everything. It's been repainted, resprayed, had various bits and pieces done on it, and all the stripes, these have been redone, which is what we're showing on the folder today.
Oh right,
It's actually a beautiful car. The owner's very proud of this vehicle.
Yeah. So has he driven it yet?
He has. He loves this car.
Oh, right,
Absolutely loves this car.
No, it's good things, aren't they? And you've got the little wind out quarter lights, just like a Series 1 XJ. They have those, but yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's in beautiful condition now, isn't it? So does your dad restore P6s then? Is that what he does?
Yes, he's
What's the company called?
MGB Services. He's based in Willenhall, and he's a Rover P6 parts and restoration specialist.
Oh, splendid.
And he also looks after other Rovers as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the info. Right, let's carry on around here admiring these Rover P6s. There we go. Ooh, there's all the info. 1973 Rover 3.5 Auto S2 in almond beige. There we go. Yeah, it's a lovely car. Real quality car, very advanced car for the era. Very novel front suspension arrangement on it. Originally destined to have a gas turbine engine, but beyond a few prototype cars, that never happened. But yeah, very nice. And look at this one over here again, the P6 V8. Another beauty there. And those look like Jensen Interceptor wheels. I might be wrong. They certainly look like Jensen Interceptor. Let's just have a quick look on here. Scarab blue. Does it say anything about the wheels? I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Jensen Interceptor Mark III. I promise I didn't look at that before. Yeah, that is one handsome looking car, I think. It's sort of growing on me quite a lot, the P6s. I've had P5s before, but I've never owned a P6, and I love the little opening rear quarter lights. That's a nice little detail. And you've got the Viking ship there, the famous Rover Viking ship, Zybark rust proofing. Who remembers that back in the 1970s? Yeah. What a Bobby Dazzler that is. An M-Reg car here. This has got the rear seat headrests, which, if memory serves, is a fairly rare option. I'm not sure if you can see that through the window, but trust me, I think that's a fairly rare option on these cars. And rounding out this set of classic Rover P6s, we have this S-Reg examples. That's really quite a late one. Ex-Metropolitan Police unmarked regional crime squad car. Bit of info there if you want to pause the video. That's pretty cool. Undercover police car. What a great colour as well. More Rover action a little bit later. We have the Rover 600 and 800 Club. We've got the coupe version of the 800 there. You very rarely see these out and about now. I remember my brother ran a goldy colour, one of the, it's an early-ish, I think it was an 820 Saloon. He had that for a little while before replacing it with, I think it was a BMW. This is the Rover Sterling coupe version. Quite a handsome motor car, this one. And the Rover SD1. Wow.
Yeah, they're not anything like as rare as the Russians.
So we've got a few SD1s here of slightly different eras. A magnificent green example over here on an R plate. It's a good old Rover 3.5 engine, very similar to that in the P6 that we were looking at just a few moments ago. Carrying on with this Rover theme, we have another P6, but in many, many pieces. So like the Citroen DS, you can remove pretty much every panel. Good morning, sir. Oh, right. Oh. Rover P7 prototype. So what's the... So 4 prototype P7s were built at a design and development cost in 63 or £350,000. So what was the P7 then? What was that going to be?
Big engine version of the Rover 2000.
So that's when they were putting the 3.5 in?
No.
Or was that?
No.
Was it before that? Prior to the 3.5?
And basically, the Rovers always built 4s and 6s.
Right.
And when they built the jelly mould Rover,
yeah,
they put the 6-cylinder in first, and then when they put the 4-cylinder in, the poor thing was so sad that unless you lived in East Anglia, it was desperate.
got you.
So when they were designing the next version, the idea was a sporting 4-cylinder and a seriously quick 6-cylinder, which is basically the Rover 2000 engine with 2 extra pots. And they built 4 of these. And William Martinhurst, one of the directors, was on a fishing trip in America, and he came off a boat and spotted a redundant V8.
I see.
Put a tape measure over it, and it was half an inch longer than a 4-cylinder.
Was it?
So you had one shift across. It would drop into the standard Rover 2000 shape without extending all the front end.
I see.
And the rest is history. And there were 4 of these cars built 3 were used for crash testing, and this one escaped.
Wow, that's incredible. So it was just a fluke really that the V8 happened then.
In a way, yeah. You know, I mean, basically, but you know, as I say, but obviously it saved Rovers an awful lot of development costs.
Of course, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing this one survived.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't have done. Peter Wilkes, who was director of Rovers, lent it to his friend Ted Eaves, who was Midland editor of Autocar, and on condition that when he'd finished with it, he would return it. And Ted Eaves, Peter Wilkes died, and there was nothing in writing to say that the car would be returned. And with all the various takeovers and this, that and the other, it was forgotten about.
Right.
And in '74, Ted Eaves sold it to me.
Wow. And you've had it all this time?
I did, yeah. I drove it as everyday transport for sort of 2-3 years. An amazing machine, but the tin worm was already getting to it. And then the sort of trail of disasters occurred, and I gave it to a guy who restored cars. Unfortunately, he died. And the executors put the car in a container, and it took me 2 years to get it back because in case I owed them money. In fact, the reverse was true. So then I didn't do anything with it because I was working, and then I gave it to another restorer in inverted commas, who hit it with a sandblaster, and then left it stand outside. And then I put it away, and then I gave it to a third one who came highly recommended by a member of the D6 club. I gave them another wad of money, and it turned up on, I came home from work and find it sitting on my lawn with all sort of bits thrown inside it, chunks cut out of it, and a note through the door saying they were no longer restoring cars, and their phone was non-existent, had gone off.
That's helpful.
At which point it remained there for probably 20 years, I suppose, in the corner of my garage, or one of my garages. And I got convinced to bring it here. And at which point I decided I'd do something about it. And now it's well on its way. I mean,
it's incredible now, isn't it?
All the serious welding has been done.
And you can see the very novel suspension arrangement here, can't you? Right, let's carry on here. Oh, fancy that, a Rover P7 prototype. I've never seen that before. This is a Rover 3-litre coupe. So this is pre-Buick V8 installation. So this is a Mark II coupe of 1963. Great looking car. Big, heavy, quality car. What do we have on the end here? Oh, this is a little air-cooled Rover 8. Early 1920s, about 22 or 23, I would imagine. Big air intakes there to keep the air-cooled engine cool. So what year is this one? Does it say? Not sure. Just a bit of history there on Rover 8s in general. It's rare to see one of those. This was a very much an affordable car of the early 1920s, the vintage era, the sort of car that Aston introduced the Aston 7 to compete with. That was in 1922, and that's the introduction of the Aston 7 did see off a lot of the small lightweight cycle cars that were on sale in the late teens and the early 1920s. Yeah, what a treat to see this little beauty here, little 2-seater Tourer, 3 stud wheels. Yeah. Lovely. Right, we've got the stage over there. There'll be various people having interviews later on, but let's carry on down here. Triumph Roadster, an immaculate Triumph Roadster. But as this is a restoration show, we need to have a look at this restoration project example here. So there's the extra seating in the back. There's a lot of loud music behind me. There's the little screens for the rear seat passenger. So I wonder where this one's been sat all these years. Blimey. Bit of work to do there. Of course, the reinvigorated Bergerac TV series once again, like the original TV series, features a Triumph Roadster similar to this. What an amazing barn find condition Triumph. I do love these old cars, untouched, put away and forgotten about. There is the engine.
I don't know.
Bit of recommissioning work
Don't
there.
show too many people that, eh?
Yeah. Are you going to do it?
It's not mine.
Is it not yours, is it? No, right.
No, it's going to take a bit of work though.
Yes. So I wonder when this last run on the road. Right. Try and avoid the music in the background, don't want any copyright issues. So let's carry on in this general direction. So I'll try and feature as many cars and stands as possible, but if I miss anything out, I apologise in advance. We've got a 214 SLI. Little Escort estate there. Just a little bit of moss and verdigris forming. We like a bit of that, so let's carry on down here past the Rover P6s, starting to get a little bit busier now. Mini Clubman, Scimitar GTE, the SE6 I think. And over here we have an MG Magnet with the bonnet raised. There we go. Still very tone, albeit I don't think MG offered that shade of blue, but it's a very fetching shade. Ford Puma there, one of the non-Puma racing cars. This is the more regular example, probably a 1.7 litre I think. Back to Rovers, got a P5B coupe here. Very similar looking to that 3 litre coupe. The biggest giveaway really is the standard fitment of these extra Lucas fog lamps down there. Slightly different grille. The 3 litre has a more colourful grille badge, and of course the 3 litre doesn't have those badges down the side. The Rover 800 coupe here, Rover P4. So 4 and 6 cylinder versions of these are available. That's the 100. Very nice too. Suicide rear doors. Here, the Rover P5 hearse. Whoa. It's rare to see one of those. Oh, come. Clearly, it's had a bit of work done. It's great that someone survived, someone saved it. So 1964 3 litre 6 cylinder hearse. That's one very stylish fuel filler cap. It's an amazing vehicle. It's the Rover BRM. Look over here, BRM, of course, British Racing Motors. There was a limited edition version of the Rover brought out. Here's that 214 again. Let's carry on over here. See what we can find. Spitfire, Triumph Spitfire Mark III, 1296cc. Triumph TR4A, Triumph GT6 Plus. So the GT6 Plus was the American market version of the GT6 Mark II. These have the Rotoflex rear suspension, which was shared with the early Mark III Triumph GT6s. Lots of noise. Got a Mark IV Spitfire there. Carry on. over here. Got a novel roof rack arrangement on this De Chevaux. Never seen one of those before. I'll avoid the music. Yeah, keep going over here. It's like a kit car based on recreating the old Lotus 11. This is a homage to the old Alfa Romeo Alfetta racing car, the Grand Prix cars of the early 1950s, based on MX-5 running gear. And there is a completed example. Certainly distinctive. Right, mind the trolley. Let's keep going over here. Bit of action over on the Metro Owners Club. We've got a dismantled, fairly early mini Metro here. Lots to do. Montego corner, well, Montego and Maestros. Montego's, the Maestro van over the back there. A barn find spec Montego saloon. Bit of TLC required. You don't see many of them now. So what does the future hold for this one? The military Montego. Originally belonged to the British Army, no less. One of the features of this particular event is how many cars are being worked upon on the Owners Club stands. You see a lot of work in progress, so that's always pretty cool to see. And over here, another selection of Rover P6s. This one a 2.2 TC, 2.2 litre twin carb. And this is one of the earlier cars, Wedgwood Blue from 1966. Classic Fords well represented, as you would expect. Very purposeful looking Welsh registered Mark 1 Escort on the end here. Here we have the convertible version of the little Wolseley Hornet. This is one of the Heinz competition cars, one of 57 built, offered up as competition prizes in 1966. Carry on over here. And this, we have a Crayford converted 2+2 estate version of the Triumph TR7. The Tracer. Certainly an interesting variation on the Triumph TR7 theme. It's getting pretty busy now. Front wheel drive Triumph 1300, very original one. Very similar engine in there to the smaller engine Dolomites and the Herald. This was an evolution of the engine in our standard 8. So this will be 1296 if it's the original engine. The standard 8 was 803 and it was gradually enlarged over the years. So yeah, these are very neat, very nice quality little cars. Front wheel drive. Very comfortable little car these are. always like how the window winders fold away into the door trim. I always thought that was a nice little detail on these cars. Try and get everything in. So Morris 8 Series E, 918cc 4-cylinder side valve engine, built either side of the Second World War. So this is a 4-door car. They did 2-door saloons as well, and Taurus. And then you also had the Morris Ed van, which was pretty closely related to these. This has got a headlamp conversion on it. These pods are an aftermarket fitment, so that you could fit the standard 7-inch Lucas headlights. The original 6-volt headlamps were sort of flush to the wing here. This pod with a lamp was a very popular conversion on the Morris 8 Series E back in the day, back in the olden days. Right, so let's carry on round here, see what else we can see. There's a Rover 75, an early Freelander over there. Let's keep going, it's getting busy. Some classic go-kart action over here. If any of you watching this video had a go at go-kart racing, it does look like a bit of a giggle, I must admit. It does look like fun. And over here we are on the Triumph Dolomite stand. This is another front-wheel drive Triumph 1300 here. The Triumph Toledo behind it. Very original looking car, that one. Wend our way through here, try not to bump into anyone. There's a bit of work going on down here on classic Dolomite. So it's a Dolly Sprint, the wheels look like Dolomite Sprint. Yep. Lots of room under the engine bay when the 16 valve engine is out. 1978 Dolly Sprint. So yeah, great to see. There's your regular 4-cylinder head. That's fitted to a Toledo, Spitfire, that kind of thing. And another front wheel drive 1300 over here. I wonder where this one was dragged out of.
So, yeah, probably so. I think I did that.
I take my hat off to anyone that works or mans the stalls at these big events, especially when you're going to dismantle a car, remembering all the tools to bring as well as the car itself. It's a huge time commitment and energy commitment, so yeah, I doff my hat to everyone displaying cars here today. Now, always worth a look is the Jowett Club stand. Here we have a wonderfully original looking Jowett Jupiter. Jack 76. Here, race prepared Jowett Jupiter. Very rakish. I love this streamlined cover here over where the passenger would sit. Jowett Jupiter Le Mans of 1951. There's an incredible special bodied Jowett based again on the Jupiter. Very good engine accessibility on this. Of course, on the regular Jupiter, the front end lifts up. Very similar engine to that. In the Javelin Saloon, which we've got an example of just over here, they did the base model and they did a deluxe version of these as well. A few subtle differences between the two. I think the deluxe had a better equipped dash. This looks like a base model, I think. The deluxe had a lot more instrumentation on it. And also there was a panel on the rear parcel shelf which doubled up as a picnic table, so you could unclip it from beneath the back window and clip it in to the back of the front seat, so you could sit in the back and have a little table for your sandwiches. So very advanced little cars, very well thought out, aerodynamic, great cars. You can remove the grille to get at the engine a little bit easier. And there is the engine over there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, again, have to remember to bring all your tools with you. Bit of work in progress. Door is open, thank you, sir. Oh wow, so this is the base model one, isn't it, I think?
Yes.
It is, isn't it? It's got a different,
yes.
a different dash.
Painted metal dashboard.
That's it, yeah.
No centre armrest.
Or picnic table under the back window.
Well, this one has got a picnic table.
Good heavens, good Lord.
I'll get shot.
There's the door, yes. Wow, no, it's and these ride along pretty well, don't they? They sort of,
They do,
for their age.
Oh, indeed.
Consider it's like a contemporary, like a Morris Minor, isn't it, or something? You know?
It will cruise now happily at 50.
Will it? Yeah.
Do a lot more, but you won't sustain 70 miles an hour. Not unless you wanted to break something.
No.
Cars of that era were not designed to run at sustained high speed.
No, they weren't geared for it or anything, were they?
But the torsion bar suspension, it's a very comfortable ride.
Yeah. No, it's a lovely example.
This is undergoing an engine change.
Is it?
So the
engine swap?
Right. The engine on the floor there was in it yesterday morning.
Was it? Oh, so the car arrived with this engine. Was there a problem with this one then?
It's simply tired. It probably needs top end work on it. Pistons and liners will probably be sufficient.
Right.
It still holds a good oil pressure, but it's down on compression.
I see.
So we've taken this opportunity to put in a rebuilt engine.
Splendid.
So that one came out with the gearbox as a complete unit.
Can two people lift that? People lift that, or is it a crane job?
It's a bit heavier than that. No, you simply jack it up. You don't need to lift it. It simply drops out of the car onto a trolley like that. This one's a purpose designed one with jacks built in, so you can fiddle about and adjust the levels for sliding things in. But it really is a case of disconnect, drop the engine, pull it out, or push the car back from it.
That's amazing. So the new engine, or the replacement engine, is in. So it's just being hooked up and wow.
Dealing with all the 1001 details of reconnecting things, and then finding that cable mountings aren't quite the same on the new one as they were on the old one, and all those sorts of things.
It's always something, isn't it?
But it'll be running by later today.
And just past this lovely vintage Tourer, again one of Jowett's finest, we have a Jowett Bradford receiving a little bit of ash framework. Again, lots and lots of tools required for this. Amazing job, amazing work. Let's see if we can sneak around here. So the Bradford, because they were made in Bradford, the Bradford was the commercial little Jowett. You can also get the estate version as well, with little windows in the back. Some of these I've seen have got really big rear windows in them. A bit of traditional craftsmanship going on here. Here's a real rarity, the FSM Sirena. Another FSO there, Polish built. Little 126, probably one of the Polish built 126s, the Polski Fiat. Let's carry on. So I'm getting through batteries and I'm still only in the first hall. So I've got a Morris Marina, the Morris Ital or Ital, got a Marina Coupe, a bit of work going on here, a bit of restoration work. Morris Marina GT, and on the end here, quite an early Morris Marina Saloon. This MX-5 looks like it's been under a tree. Lots of shiny cars over there, but let's stick with some of the older cars and dusty cars. That's what we really want to be looking at. Another MX-5 Mark 1 there. Lots of work going on there. And here, the Ford Side Valve Owners Club. We've got a part dismantled Ford Model Y. Great little car. These introduced the 8-horse engine, a 933cc unit in about 1932. So this is a two-door saloon, very American-inspired styling. Little 300e Thames van with the 1172-100e engine under the bonnet. But this is the real beauty that I wanted to look at. A gloriously original Ford E83W pickup truck. It's been in the same family since the 1970s. I've owned a fair number of E83Ws over the years, some pickups, some vans, so this is a very familiar scene to me. The engine offset to the passenger side, so it's semi-forward control. Still got the proper original seat with a tapering backrest, so that's good to see. It's just in incredibly original condition. Just love the paint on that. Just perfect. If I buy another E83W one day, I hope it's identical looking to this. It's just wonderful patina. You can't really recreate the passing of time. That's just amazing. Very slow, quite low geared, so slower than say like a Ford Pop 103E like we're looking at here. And these are no ball of fire, to be honest. Both have the 1172cc engine, the E93A engine as it's called. In fact, you can see it under the bonnet of this one. This one's been fitted with a vacuum tank to give a bit of extra support to the vacuum windscreen wipers. I think the Prefect had that fitted as standard. Yeah, tiny little side valve engine, all pretty, fairly easy to get at, although setting the tappets down the side of the engine is a bit of a struggle, especially on the E83W that has the engine offset to one side, and this is an incredible. Well, it's a Ford Model T, or probably the Model TT, which was the sort of the heavier commercial version of the Ford Model T, with this amazing winch on the back, this breakdown recovery winch. A very agricultural cab, but just wonderful. It's just been preserved in such incredible original condition. It's a left-hand drive. Of course, Model Ts and TTs were assembled at Ford's factory in Manchester at Trafford Park, and they were right-hand drive as a result. This is a left hooker, so presumably imported from somewhere in the States. What an amazing thing. I do find myself drawn to these particularly rusty vehicles. Yeah, that's wonderful, as is this. Just a super little E83W pickup. One of the attractions of the show is pride of ownership, and this is where people bring their beautifully prepared, immaculate cars for judging later on in the event. This is a 3-day show. Today is day 2, the Saturday. It's pretty rare Opel Kadett SR there. Incredible Datsun 260 saloon. How do you find parts for one of these nowadays? They must be pretty much unobtainium, I would have thought. That is in beautiful condition. Real credit to the owner, as all these cars are, to be honest. Later classics, older classics, modern classics, retro cars, whatever you want to call some of the newer cars here, but they all have in common His very enthusiastic, passionate owners. MG there, Morris Mini Minor. Of course, the first Minis, the Mark 1s, the very first ones were Morris's, and then the Aston followed along shortly after. That's in lovely condition. More fast forwards over here. And this intriguing little car is a Gogomobile. Wow, right-hand drive as well. Gogomobile Royal 700. I'm guessing 700cc. Tiny little boxer engine way down there, really low down in the engine bay. There we go, 1961 Gogomobile T700 Royal. Bit of history there. That's pretty amazing. It's a lovely two-tone colour scheme as well. What a belter. Capri Mark 1, Mercedes-Benz SL, one of the pagoda roof Mercedes-Benz SLs. Wonderful condition, looks like it gets used for a bit of historic rallying. Extra clocks in the centre of the dash. Very cool. I'm talking of very cool, we have around here the mighty Citroen SM, the Maserati powered Citroen SM, incredible cars. I've talked about these door mirrors before, but just amazing detail, just incredible. So the V6 Maserati engine set right back over there, the back of the engine bay with all the ancillary pumps and associated gubbins at the front there. Very complicated car. Lamps that steer following the road wheels. Real labour of love to bring back and pull one of these. A similar amount of work probably to keep a good one running as well, because there's an awful lot going on under here. Incredible car. Right, let's see if we can amble back over this way. Try not to miss anything out. Somewhat dismembered Aston Martin here. Someone's made a drag racer out of an Aston A40 Devon. Leyland Princess, this one from 1978. This P6 has a 4.6 litre engine from a Range Rover. Aston Martin DB6 there. VW Corrado Club with some Siroccos over in the background too. Ford Consul Classics. So this is a Consul Classic four-door saloon, very much a barn find resto project car. There's a bit to do there. That'll keep someone quiet for a while. Related to it is the Consul Capri. So a fastback roof, very stylish. And here we have a restored example. Really stunning condition. Mini estate over there. You can see the Ford Transit Club. Ford Corsairs. There's always a good display on the Ford Corsair stand. Again, huge amount of work to set up these stalls. I was looking on Facebook at photos of stalls or displays being started back on Wednesday. Today it is Saturday, so it's a huge commitment in terms of time, energy and indeed money. Look at this. Wow. The smell of ancient 2050 wafts over from this much dismantled Corsair, the V4 engine of the Ford Corsair. Yeah, it's a familiar smell. Familiar to anyone who does their own oil changes. That's just brilliant. Nice work. Right, let's carry on over here. And we have the Ford Transits. First battery is getting pretty low. I think I'm going to have to get some more batteries one day. Yeah, an incredible camper. Automobile freeway camper from 1973. Slightly later, I think it's a Mark II Transit. Yeah, it's a Mark II over here. Very similar shape, different front. Another Mark I here, regular panel van on the end. This has got the bullnose front, the sort of the longer pointy front. Was that to accommodate a diesel engine? I think it probably was. I think it was the petrol that had the slightly flatter front, if memory serves. Sirocco's to the left of me. Classic Citroens over here, Citroen DS, a GS or GSA Estate. Yep. Very cool car. Citroen XM and an incredible Citroen AMI 6. These are amazing. If you saw the video we did in 2024 driving around France looking for interesting old cars, you'll see that we did find one of these. We filmed a gentleman driving along in a small French town. We found where his garage was and he gave us a bit of a guided tour. These are amazing with these reversed rear windows, even more extreme than the 105e Anglia. Amazing looking car. Next to it, Citroen AMI 8 in many, many pieces. CV, Citroen Diane, and many, many 2CV pieces. This is the Lancia Thema. This was a Type 4 car. The main structure was a joint development with Fiat, Lancia, Alfa Romeo and Saab. Saab producing the 9000, but the centre part and the structure underneath, the front and back, were very, very similar. So you got the Thema, the Lancia Thema, the Alfa Romeo 164, the Saab 9000 and the Fiat Chroma. They all were based on the Type 4 concept. Right. Austin Healey's next. There's the mighty BMC 6-cylinder engine on display there. Nice and easy to get at without the front wings in place. Lovely car. Wouldn't say no to one of these. Over here, the Austin Healey Sprite Mark I, the Frog Eye Sprite. These are the little BMC A-Series engine, very similar to that of the Austin A35, but a few mods to the engine, twin carburetors. And I've seen a number of these that have been converted from the original rear hinged bonnet to front hinge bonnets like the Spitfire, which I guess would make accessibility a little bit easier. But I guess if you break down on a rainy day, the bonnet does act as a bit of an umbrella actually, so that's one advantage of the original setup. We have the many immaculate Mercedes over here, some fairly late, some not so much. This is a 220 SEB from 1965, it's on a C-plate, beautiful looking car. That really is a stunning car. Right. Let's carry on. There's the pride of ownership over there and that incredible SM. SL here, one of the R107 cars. Ford Probe. See what else we can see. Slightly later cars over there, Focus, big Volvo. I think it's time to change the battery. Very rare Gilburn over here, the Gilburn Estate. V6 Ford engine under there, lots and lots of room around it. Talking of estates, we have a Ford Escort Mark I estate, lots and lots of modifications. It's getting pretty busy now. Huge six-cylinder engine in this Datsun, either 240 or 260Z, I'm not quite sure which. It's a 240Z from 1972, somewhat modified. We'll continue looking for some of the more barn-findy cars. Let's keep going up here. Jaguar XJS's. XJS 50, as they came out in 1975. This is an XJRS, I think. Scimitar. Now there's a place I have done a video at before, the Aldridge Transport Museum. Did a video there 2 or 3 years back. It's well worth checking that one out if you like. Your mix of mainly commercial vehicles, if I remember right. Ford Cortina 1600E, MGB Roadster, and what's going to be a wonderfully immaculate Triumph Herald over here. 1200 on, yeah, the 1250 had the same front but had a full-length sunroof as standard, so I'm guessing this is a 1200. That's got the makings of a lovely car indeed. There it is, 1965. We've got the early discoveries over here. Lots of those are being preserved now. The Vauxhall Victor FE estate. I did catch a glimpse of the Standard Club stand. Must make sure I don't miss that out. Yeah, some really tasty examples of the Victor estate over here. Ford Orion there, the booted version of the Escort. Mazda over there. Bedford HA vans. Some modified, some standard. To go over in this general direction because I saw the Standard Club over here somewhere. I don't quite remember where it was. Let's cut through here past this incredible Escort. 39 era of BMW 5 Series, that's an Alpina, and there is the Volvo. I certainly have missed the standard club, it's all the way back over here. There's the Ford side valve club again, big Mitsubishi GTOs, lots of modern classics here today, MR2s, Mark III, the Mark II, which is my favourite, and the Mark I over here. But here we have the standard club stand. I do have a soft spot for standards, having owned quite a few of them over the years. And look at this incredible standard 10 van. That is very, very rare indeed. This is amazing. 1959 600 weight van. So unlike what some manufacturers did, and they basically took the estate body and panelled it in, I'm thinking like Ford with the 300e and the 100e estate, these, the standards, these were bespoke. The van bodies were unique to the vans, just as the estate, the companion, was unique to the estate version of the standard 10. So that raised rear roofline is unique to the van version. Bit of tin worm in there, but it will be done, I'm sure. You can also get a pickup version of these as well. It's a super original as found. I won't mind those wings. Here we have a pre-war standard. It's a 1934 standard 10 deluxe. There we go, side valve, 4-cylinder engine, full length sunroof. Perfect for a Sunday afternoon's drive into the countryside, and perhaps a nice cup of tea on a roadside picnic maybe. Yeah, what a beauty, great to see some pre-war cars here. Yeah, that really is Bobby Dazzler.
Anything you like to know?
Right, what's the history of it? Do you know where it's been?
Yes, so my grandfather bought it new
Did he?
in 1934. Collected it from just round about Maribon. Keys were left in the toolbox because he was finishing work and he wasn't going to be open there while it was while they were open.
Yeah.
It is then went to my father when my sister was born, 1962. It's had a few adventures before that, which is why it doesn't have the original bumpers, etc. Apart from that, it's generally unmolested, apart from when a lorry decides to back into it. And it came to me about 4 years ago.
Did it? And you've just carried on running it?
Yeah, it's done 360,000 miles.
Does it?
Yeah, it's got
Incredible,
a little bit of weekend work, as some people would
so
say.
at some point it's had like one of these radiator covers, the radiator muff.
Yes,
on it at some time.
I need to get a few more studs put back on that.
Right.
But I've got one of the more original ones which I went over the top, and some of the photographs show that. Had to have the wheels done, but we managed to get them back to the original colour.
Yeah.
Because it was underneath some of the.
Oh, was it?
So that is the original colour of wheels.
It's amazing it's still in your family after all this time, isn't it?
Well, yes, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing it survived full stop, but the fact
Well, yes.
it's still...
When you hear of some of the adventures it's been on, yes.
It's incredible. It's still with the old tax disc in the window. Yeah. That's it. 3 rebores, 363,000 miles, one family owned from new. Wow.
And an early war fuel cooled one.
Oh, is it?
So this is dated,
Oh,
I think it's
December 39.
December 94.
And these are all original photos of this car.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. If anyone can help with these parts, front and rear bumpers for a 34. get in touch. Let's see what else is on here on the standard stand, as well as that incredibly rare van. We have a little standard 8 here, very similar age to ours, with the wind-up windows. The early ones had the slidey door windows, and this I think is a Vanguard 6, or is it just a regular Vanguard? The Vanguard Vignale, which was a mildly facelifted version of the Vanguard Phase 3. Slightly taller windscreen on the Vignale version, slightly different at the front, but the family link to the previous Phase 3 is pretty obvious, pretty clear. Yeah, great to see a few rare standards here. I think I can see there's a Land Crab over there, got a TR7 or a TR8. It says TR7 on the back, so we'll go with that. Obviously the Triumph TR7, it's a rally car. We've got a regular fixed head coupe here with a 2-litre Triumph engine, just a little bit bigger than the Dolly engine. A few of these were fitted with a Sprint unit, the 16 valve. And over here is the Bond Equipe or Equipe. I never know how to spell it, or how to pronounce it rather. So this is based on the Triumph Herald chassis, running gear, engine, etc. And the bulkhead, the doors are Triumph Herald but with different tops, because the glass is a different shape on these compared to the Triumph Herald. Yeah, quite a rakish looking car. M for Michelotti on the bonnet catches there, because Michelotti originally styled the Herald and the Triumph Spitfire. Yeah, that's the Bond Equipe. There's also a 6-cylinder version available as well. Let's carry on. I can hear some talking going on the stage over the back there, but I need to press on because I'm still only in the first hall. Mr. Chinian. Right, there is the very original looking Land Crab, the old 1800. Very nice, the 1800, the Aston 1800. The transverse B series engine, got a Reliant Scimitar GTE, the SE5 or the 5A version, fiberglass bodywork, Ford V6 engine, classic Toyotas, it's a Land Cruiser and a little Hi-Ace camper. That's very neat indeed. Right, let's carry on the quest to feature as many cars as possible in this video here at the 2025 NEC Classic Car and Restoration Show. Here we have the Jaguar Heritage Trust. A bit of work going on the back end of this XK fixed head coupe. I'm guessing that's a 140. Jaguars over this way. SS100 from 1938. So the XJS there. Now we are in Lotus Corner. There is a Lotus Elite. And talking of Lotus Elites, I believe this is also a barn find Lotus Elite. Plenty of moss. Another detritus on this very wedgy fiberglass bodywork. Plenty to do in there, I think. This was from a time when Colin Chapman, the boss of Lotus, was trying to sort of take the Lotus mark somewhat more at market from the previous sort of Lotus 7s and the Alans that came before. So you had the Elite, and there was the Eclat as well. This is a former press car. It's a labour of love, this one. to be pretty committed, but it is a rare car, a unique history. And there is the Lotus XL. Right. Porsche Club over there, a variety of Porsches, including a cutaway 911 over here. Type 996 to 944 in the background. So let's have a quick look round the back. Just admire the rear engined installation in this car.
I'd have that problem. Yeah.
Fiat Motor Club over here. We've got a 124 Spider. Lovely Spider here, about 1972-ish. Left-hand drive. Very, very stylish car indeed. There's a little 126. It's a Polish-built version, the Polski Fiat Coupe. And over here, the Alfa Romeo Owners Club. This is the Alfa Romeo Arna. So this was a collaboration between Alfa and Nissan, where they took the Nissan, was it a Cherry body shell, and fitted the Alfa Romeo Boxer running gear into it. So this was the Alfa Romeo Arna, and Nissan sold their own badged version of the same car as the Nissan Cherry Europe. You'd have thought they would take the styling of an Alfa Romeo and fit the dependable running gear of a Datsun or a Nissan under it. But no, they took the hatchback Nissan and fitted the Alfa running gear to that. Probably one of the most unusual collaborations between two car manufacturers of recent decades, and there is the Alfa Romeo engine under the bonnet of this restoration project, Alfa Romeo Arna. Very rare car. Wonder how many of these they actually sold. Wonder which sold better, the Alfa or the Nissan. Great to see two examples of such a rare car now. Carry on around here. So it's that 75, I think. Yep, 75 LE from 1992. Twin spark engine in that one. You can also get the V6 with a lovely sounding V6 engine. Over here, mid-restoration, Alfa Romeo Berliner in saloon. A few modifications being undertaken on this one, including hand controls. Carry on down here. Bit of work going on there. Blimey. I'd be terrified of not being able to get it back together in time by the end of the show if I was trying this.
You're being conscious. Exactly. Keeps you going.
Very brave. Right. What's this over here? Aston 7. Coach built bodywork on it. Very unusual body actually. SS2 Coupe. That'll be a very neat little car when that's done. And look at this incredible machine based on a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit. Wow. So it's kind of like a pickup with a covered load bay. That's a back window of the Spirit.
Today
Jaguar door mirrors, very similar to the Jag Series 3. Certainly a unique take on a 1980s Rolls-Royce. We have Sunbeam Lotus Owners Club over this way. This one mid-restoration. This one looking very original. There's the Lotus twin cam engine. JDC, just over this away, the Jaguar Drivers Club, lots of memorabilia available. X308, very similar to our 3.2 Sport. This is also a 3.2, and this one also has the aluminium thermostat housing conversion. So I think the originals were plastic. Good to see another one of these out and about. The X308 series. Let's keep going over here. Super shiny E-Type. Just go over here. We have a Mark II Saloon, 1965 Mark II 3.8. Very nice too. Squeezed in there the 3.8 litre version of Jaguar's XK engine. It was the biggest version of this engine they sold in the Mark II. The 420 that came a bit later had the 4.2, and the S-Type had the 3.4 or the 3.8 litre. Beautiful car. Right. I'm going to head over this way to the Daimler Club. I think it's the Daimler Lanchester Owners Club we're on now. We have a magnificent Daimler here. It's a 1925 Daimler 1655 Tourer. What a beauty that is. Super comfy seats. Just very stylish car. Look how comfy it is in the back there. Acres of legroom. Just imagine sprawling out on that very inviting rear seat. Very nice car. Nickel plating. Just has just like a bit of a yellowy hue to it compared to chrome. Beauty that is. And if we just go over here, we'll see a slightly later, probably early 30s, 34 saloon. I'm guessing it's a Daimler 15, could be wrong. Oh, it's a BSA. Oh, BSA Birmingham small arms. A little 4-cylinder engine being freed up there. From the back I thought it was a Daimler 15. Always risky when you're trying to identify things on the fly. Right, a Daimler version of the Series 3 Jag. This is a Van den Plas version. So this was the plushest of the plush, with the lovely inlays on the doors. Again, a bit of work going on here, demonstrating to the passers-by what working on some of these cars is actually like. So again, you got the straight 6XK engine there. By this point in time, fuel injected. Earlier cars were of course carburetors. So that's a 1981 Daimler Sovereign, a Van den Plas, and here the Daimler SP250. Originally it was going to be called the Daimler Dart, but Dodge in America already had the rights to the Dart name. So Dart was very much an unofficial name for these. There's the glorious 2.5 litre V8 engine by Edward Turner. A name associated with motorcycle racing and Brooklands, that kind of thing in earlier times. He designed this, the 2.5 litre engine, and also the 4.5 that went into the Majestic Major, which was a hell of a car. This engine was also fitted to the Mark II Jag body shell, creating what was the V8 250 or the Daimler 2.5 litre, depending on the age of the car. They did change the name of it during production at some point. Porsches over there, midgets and sprites over here. With a frog eye there, the Mark 1 Sprite, green one over there. And this is a really unusual car. This is the Innocenti built midget. We've got some information here. Right, so the bodywork designed by Gear of Turin. About 775 were built, and these were built by Innocenti between 1961 and 1968. So a very unusual take on the regular MG midget and the Austin Healey Sprite. Shades of A40 Mark II around the front there. Very neat. It reminds me a little bit, the side profile reminds me of the old Datsun Fairlady a fair bit. But it's a real treat to see that rarity here. I don't think these were ever sold here in the UK. It's all fairly familiar. Under there, the 1275 A-Series engine, twin carburetors. Innocenti also did their own version of the Mini Cooper, and that was really nice. Had opening quarter lights and a very stylish dashboard as well. And this one is also has some lovely little styling features on it. Yeah, very rare, very unusual sight that. Right. Scimitars over here, Scimitar GTEs. Many Bond bugs. Hillmans over here, the Imp Club. This is a Clan Crusader powered by the rear-mounted Hillman Imp engine, tucked away in the tail there. So that's the Clan Crusader. A little Imp over here. And if we just go around here, we have the little Husky, the little estate. It's a lovely condition, that one. Tucked away over here, we have the Frisky Club. Meadows Frisky. There's the chassis, three-wheeler. Great little, fun little cars these are. There's always something going on this stand. I've been coming here to the NEC, the Restoration Show, and the main classic car show in November for quite a few years now.
Never recall seeing any of them.
And the Frisky Club stand always has something interesting going on, including this incredible car. I remember this was a work in progress when I first saw it. It's just an amazing little car, the Frisky Sprint. Conscious of my battery situation, so I want to make sure I get in as much as possible. Here we've got a Vauxhall Wyvern. So this is one of the E-Series cars. The Wyvern was a 4-cylinder. And you had the Velox and the Cresta, which had the 6. Well, these are seriously rare cars now. And the early ones of these had quite a cool feature, like some of the early Buicks, where you could open the bonnet either way, side hinged. You could either open it like that or like that. Later cars, they had a conventional rear hinged bonnet. I'm not sure which this one is. Either way, it's a very rare survivor. Nice and dusty too. We like dusty things. Right, okay. I saw some sunbeams over there, the Alpines, Messerschmitts, or similar over here. The FMR moped. Many pieces of a Messerschmitt over there. This is that three-wheeler and scooter corner. The National Microcar Rally is being promoted. I'm sure that'll be a bit of a hoot. Yeah, let's carry on in this general direction, and then I think soon we will start heading off in the direction of the next hall. I just want to make sure I do as much as I can in this one first. We've got a Opel Monza there in many pieces. There's the Bond Bugs backing on to the Reliant club stand. Scimitar GTE. D-type replica over there. VW Golf GTI Mark 1. This is the Boston Classic Car Club and Ford Capri 2. So this is the second version of the Ford Capri. This introduced the opening hatchback to the Ford Capri design. There you go, Capri 2. Porsche 911 Targa, much disassembled. Let's carry on over here. So I want to make sure that I feature this incredible Reliant Regal. I was chatting to the owner of this one, Lewis. He's got his own YouTube channel. It's a 1954 Regal Mark II. He was just fitting these headlamp peaks when I wandered around before. These early Reliants were aluminium bodied before they switched to fiberglass construction, but there's the little engine there based on the Aston 7. Yeah, a little side-valve 4-pot engine, 747cc, based on the Aston 7, which, I mean, the Aston 7 came out in 1922, so that engine was certainly very long-lived. But what an incredible little car. Last time I saw one of these was at, I think, the National Motor Museum at Bewley. There was one of these, a restored one of these on display, and the owner was saying there's only about 10 or so examples known of these incredible little three-wheelers. Economy motoring for the post-war motorist, probably upgrading from, say, a motorcycle and sidecar. And in fact, you could drive these three-wheelers on a motorcycle license, and that was one of the reasons they were really popular for quite a while, certainly in the 50s, when people were after sort of cheap, economical little cars to run, which was an upgrade to a motorcycle and sidecar. One of these, or perhaps the Bond equivalent, would have been quite a popular choice, I would have thought. Yeah, great to see that here on the Reliant Club stand. Maestro van there. Vauxhall Cavalier Mark 1 over here. I bet quite a few of you watching this video remember these out and about. Maybe you owned one of these. Very comfy looking interior. Velour seats by the look of it. Lots of really interesting Skodas over here, including this car, which has got race and rally competition history. That's pretty groovy. Let's just try and get around here without really getting anyone's way. Dealer Team Skoda. That's pretty groovy. Carry on our way over here and see more classic Skoda action. Skoda built in what was Czechoslovakia long before VW got involved. Rear engine, very popular in rallying back in the day. I remember these taking part on the Lombard RAC rally in the late 80s. Not this model, the later Rapides, I think it was. Over here, a bit of communist action. Wartburgs, East Germany's favourite, hence DDR, the Deutsche Democratic Republic. The Wartburg Knight. So we are on the Wartburg Trabant and IFA Club. Wartburg 353. So there's the history of these little two-stroke cars. Motoring for the masses, East German style. Perhaps the most famous of all was the Trabant, Carry on down here. Another Wartburg. This has a later engine. Is it a VW engine? Possibly. So cool to see these really rare cars. Almost extinct here in the UK. And talking of cars that are almost extinct, over here we have a Yugo Sana. My gum. It's not every day you see one of these. I've seen one or two red ones around and about, but they are seriously rare cars. I've still got all the sales brochures for these when these were current on sale. Who remembers doing that? Etching their registration, acid etching the reg into the glass of the car as a security feature. Pretty cool. Right. We'll just carry on, mosey on over here. VW Carman gear. Another one over here. Lots and lots of trade stands, including a fine array of hats over here. The Jensen Interceptor here showing off its huge Chrysler V8 engine. 6 point something litres, is it 6.2 or 6.7? Either way, north of 6 litres, American V8. Bit of work going on over here. We've got a Jensen Healey. This one badged up as a V8. So normally these have the little Lotus twin cam engine in them. So we'll just negotiate our way around these loose parts. Lots of work going on over there. This is a rare one, the Jensen GT. So this was the like shooting brake or estate version of the Jensen Healey. I wonder if this one's still got the Lotus engine under the bonnet. Pretty cool seeing all these cars being worked on. Right, there's one car I wanted to have a look at before I disappear to the next hall. Alongside this immaculate Jaguar E-Type Roadster. It's a Series 1 Roadster in a beautiful shade of blue, very similar to the Acuria Cos colours. It's like the nest of wiring. Yeah, it's a stunning colour, that is. Possibly my favourite colour for one of these. Over here is something called a Horstman, I think. Yeah, the Horstman Super Sports Brooklands Racer of 1921. We do like a bit of vintage car action here on the channel. This is a beauty. This is Smith's taco there. It's a beautiful car, aluminium torpedo body shape. Very distinctive grille, radiator rather, the radiator header tank. And there is the history.
They're all 70 years old now. The Healey's are dropping because the generation.
So these were £500 with no warranty whatsoever.
Generations that are actually rusted after cars.
It's a beautiful car. Look at this incredible little trike over here. What's the story with this? Okay, we are in the next hall, and here, wonderful Austin 7 Swallows. So this is how Sir William Lyons, he of Jaguar, started out, designing coachwork to fit on other manufacturers' chassis and running gear. This was based on the Austin 7, with a very, very stylish take. Certainly one of the most stylish of all the rebodied Austin 7, the coach-built Austin 7 versions. Beautiful little car, still with the 747cc engine under the bonnet. The Swallow cars started out building sidecars for motorcycles. William Lyons joined William Walmsley, I think it was, up in Blackpool. Then they parted company. William Lyons continued doing coachwork for cars such as these Austin 7 based cars and the standards. A number of standards were also bodied by the Swallow coach building company. Got another beautiful one here. There was also an open top version of the Austin 7 Swallow produced, this one from 1930. Very, very nice indeed. Very cosy in there, a little four-seater just about. Well, what a cracking car that is. Two very rare Austin 7 Swallow saloons. And if we go over here, we will see an Austin 7 Swallow Tourer. I do know someone vaguely who has one of these stashed away in a warehouse where it's been for decades, and every few years I get an update on what she's going to do with it. It certainly hasn't been on the road for many a year, but it's an open top Swallow Tourer, identical to this one. I think I saw a grainy little photo of it and it was missing its headlights, but I imagine most of the hard to find bits are there. So I await news, hopefully one day, on what's actually going to happen to it. Here we have the body tub of another example, this one looking a little bit time worn, but there's enough there to use as a template to recreate that ash-framed tub clothed in aluminium. Right, there's another one over here as well. Incredible, 4 Swallows, all based on the Austin 7. Now we are on the Wolseley Club stand, the Wolseley Register. This is the Wolseley 444. This shared its body shell pretty much with the early MG magnets, the ZA and the ZB, which was a Gerald Palmer design basically, the bodies on these. So this has the, I think it's the X-Pag engine, similar to that in the MG TD. And over here, at first glance, you'd think, oh, it's another Wolseley 444, but no, this is the Wolseley 1550. And this car was fitted with the BMC B Series engine. And before we ended up buying the V8 Pilot, one of these was definitely on the shortlist because I thought, lovely styling, great looking cars, and with a B Series engine, that would actually be a really usable car, and probably one that would be fairly straightforward to keep on the road. There you are. 1489cc, so the 1500cc version of the B Series engine. But yeah, that would make for a very usable car, I think, and quite rare, probably even rarer than the 444, I would have thought. And this is the Wolseley 1500. This is one of the facelifted cars with the A40 Farina back lights, and this also has the 1489 B Series engine, just like that beauty over there. Ongoing restoration with this one. There's always something to do. Really nice cars, drive really well. 1500 engine, torsion bar suspension, lifted straight from the Morris Minor. Okay, now let's see what we have here. This is the Alvis Club. So we've got a TD21, I think. Yep, TD21 Series 2. Series 1s have little vents in there where those Lucas lamps are. What's this? So what's this, a speed 20 or a speed 25 perhaps? Might have to cheat and resort to looking at the thing in the window. This is a speed 20. Coachwork by Van den Plas. Very sleek, beautiful car that is. I know my youthful assistant will approve of that one. And over here on the end we've got a Woody, it's a coach-built Woody estate based on an Alvis TA14. If you've been following the channel for a little while, you'll remember I visited Chris Prince over in Shropshire, and he has a huge assortment of old Alvises, mainly TD21s, but also some of the earlier cars and parts for them. And this is a TA14 from 1947. Yeah, what a handy car that is. You can see us doing the weekly shop in something like that. It's incredible. Wow, what do we have here? I wonder what the future holds for this one. It's looking a little bit time worn, but you never know. It may see the road again, or failing that, it provides a very useful parts to keep others on the road. Just across the walkway from the Alvis Club we have this, the Austin Counties Car Club. This is an A40 Sport. So this was a contemporary of the A40 Devon, the A40 Somerset, early 1950s, late 40s, early 1950s. Very similar running gear to the A40 Devon with the pre-B Series 1200 engine, the BMC 1200. These had twin carburetors just to give them a little bit more poke. This one's been shipped in from the US of A, hence left-hand drive. An old mate of mine rebuilt one of these. It was rotten as a pear, but he got it all back together and back on the road. So the A40 Sports launched the 1950 Earls Court Motor Show. So aluminium bodywork. I think the coachwork on these was by Jensen on behalf of the Austin Motor Car Company down at Longbridge. Rare car. Probably looked faster than it actually was, but super rare car. Here we have the Austin A90 Atlantic, the immaculate A90 Atlantic. What a car that is. What a stunning car that is. As the name suggests, this was put into production in the hope that it would sell well over in America. This was the time of export or die, and export of British built cars was a real priority for the then government at the time. Incredible dashboard on these. So yeah, very glitzy, very bling, but they didn't really take off on the other side of the pond. There was also a drop head coupe version. This is a fixed head two-door saloon, and one feature of these is they have a wind down rear window, which is a pretty cool feature. This one's going to be a real Bobby Dazzler once it's finished. This one from 1953, so this is a contemporary of the AE40 Somerset. And over here now, this is a rarity, the Austin A70 Hampshire pickup. Occasionally you see photos of these in Australia. They seem to have survived a bit better than over here. There are very, very few of these around. What a great old survivor that is. I do love an old pickup. So you've got aluminium skinning on the outside of the body. Removable rear wheel spats, a bit like the A40 pickups have. And it's got an old trailer on the back. Oop. No. Might have to have a closer look at that. I do have a bit of a soft spot for old trailers. Don't ask me why, but I do. Yeah, that is a super rare car, that is. I just have to go and have a closer look at that trailer.
Things like that, you know.
Oh, there it is. I love the little, probably a livestock trailer, it's a guess. But yes, I have done videos about old trailers before now. That's pretty cool. It looks perfect behind that, doesn't it? Looks like someone's been practicing their target practice on the back. It's got a bit of a case of acne on the back, but preserved, kept original, that's the main thing. What a great little thing that is. So rare. Right, let's carry on our merry way round here, past the immaculate A90. We'll go and see what else we can see. There's the barn finds display over there, we'll have a look at that in a minute. So just have a quick scoot over here, we've got the Aston A30 stroke A35 plug here. So, A30 here. We've added flashing indicators. A35, a two-door Aston A35 here. So 948cc. There's some of the running gear to that in our A40 Farina. This is the A30 that came before the A35 with the smaller back window. Different gutter as well. I think this is the AS4. And here we have a super little van version. Various versions of these were built, all look the same pretty much. Some of them, the later ones, had flatter door panels and slightly different engine sizes were offered over the years. Right. So much to see. Allards here. There's the old flathead V8, the Ford V8. Very similar to that in our V8 Pilot at home. And familiar scenes with a distributor hung out the front. A bit tricky to get at on the Pilot, not so bad on this Allard. Let's carry on down here. Another incredible looking car here. What's this? A P1 Saloon. Now modified to J2 Sports chassis. Allard saloon here again with the flathead, the side valve Ford V8 engine. This one made in Canada, it says there. It's got aluminium heads on this one. Maybe that was an Allard thing. Ours has got cast iron heads. Otherwise, pretty similar. Pretty wild looking cars. And facing the Allard stand we have an array of classic Rileys. This, the Riley Kestrel version of the Austin Morris 1100 and 1300. What is this? This is the how do you pronounce that? Autovia, I think it is. So this was Riley based, I think. But what is this engine? Wow. V8. It's an incredible survivor this is. Just the kind of car I was hoping to see here today at the NEC. Oh, a bit of work going on here. Hopefully this wonderful original paint will be preserved. This car has evolved to be, as you see it here, complete with super roof rack on it. Yeah, what a beauty, lovely seats. They'll come up a treat with a bit of hide food if they haven't already. Wonderful smell as well, smell of old leather and oil. Look at that, Autovia, Coventry, England. Some pretty hefty brakes on there as well. Look at the size of the drums on that. What an incredible engine. So a V8. Two huge Zenith carburetors feeding it. Amazing car. Front and rear doors are rear hinged. Original glass. What a great thing that is. It's really handsome motor car that is. I do like that. And that's unusual. I bet that's rare, having a steel sliding sunroof in this little Castrol. There's another example of a Castrol over here. Apologies for the reflections. We have a Riley RM Saloon. 1.5 and 2.5 litre versions were available. This is the 2.5 with a pale blue badge there. The 1.5 litre had the darker blue background to the badge, so this is a 2.5. And I'm sure that probably bobs along very happily indeed. Dad had examples of both back in the 1960s, and he rues getting rid of those, especially the 2.5 Roadster that he had. That's how it goes, isn't it? And there's the Riley Elf, posh version of the Mini, very similar to the Wolseley Hornet. Early cars, just like the early Minis, had the exterior hinges and the slidey door windows, but this is one of the later cars with the hidden door hinges and wind-up windows. And another Castrol over here. Castrol, of course, was a name used in the 1930s and dusted down again for the Riley version of the AD016 in the 1960s. Great to see those here. Right, let's carry on over here. This hall is a mixture of trade stands. My God, look at this Packard. Trade stands over the back and car clubs over here. Got an engine here from 1929 Aston Heavy 12.4, so gumdrop spec. Look at this incredible Packard all the way from America. This will have a straight 8 in it, I'm sure. Yeah, look at that. What an engine. Straight 8, so 8 cylinders in line. Side valve. What an incredible car that is. Very swish. Packard was definitely one of the most upmarket of all the American manufacturers, especially in the pre-war days. But look at those stunning lamps. It's actually got French Marshall headlamps on this one. What a car. Convertible coupe model 1201 819 5.2 litre straight 8 engine, delivering 120 horsepower. So shipped over in kit form, assembled down in London, hence being right-hand drive. Yeah. Wow, I mean, this model must be pretty rare in the States, but over here, just incredible. Right. Trade stalls over there. A little Riley here, the little Riley 1.5. So we saw the Wolseley 1500 before, and this was its sporty sister. Still with the 1500 engine in there, but this time with twin SU carbs. So this was the sporty variant, I suppose. And again, very good steer, based as it is on Morris Minor underpinnings. Very plush in there, lots of gauges, beautiful wood veneer dash. That's pretty cool. What do we have over here? We'll just squeeze our way through here. Ford Model T, 1926. Again, right-hand drive. All sorts of goodies available to keep your car on the road, or indeed decorate the garage back at base. Yesterday evening I was doing just that, rooting around, looking to see what else I could put on display and hang up in the garage. Many models, like that Volvo 164, I had one in that colour just a little while back. Some incredible models here. Look at that old US Army Chevrolet 41 to 46 pattern Chevy, and the Mercedes Transporter alongside it, their Merc high-speed transporter that Mercedes recreated a few years back. They actually scrapped the original one, and the original piece on the recreated transporter is the Mercedes three-pointed star on the back, I believe. Right, let's carry on. Ford Escorts here, and so many bits and bobs. I don't know if I'll get a chance to have a look around the stalls. I think the priority today will be the cars themselves. Right, let's go see if we can find the barn find display. The barn finds are just over there, but it would be remiss of me not to have a closer look at the Armstrong Siddeley display. If you've been watching the channel for a while, I did put a compilation together featuring lots and lots of different Armstrong Siddeley models that were available over the years, including examples of this, the Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire, which is a real quality car of the 1950s. Beautifully comfy interior, great car to drive by all accounts. Lovely car. There's the Sphinx mascot, the famous Sphinx. It's a beauty. Somewhat earlier, Armstrong Siddeley over here. So which one's this? I know they did the Hurricane, and there was the Whitley Saloon as well. Interesting roof construction. This is very similar to that used on the Riley RMs. And this is the slightly later version of the Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire. This is the Star Sapphire, so slightly shorter radiator compared to, I can't see it now, but the original Sapphire, the radiator grille, the radiator comes up here, whereas on the Star Sapphire, which was a revised version, it's slightly smaller, but otherwise looks pretty similar. Great to see those beauties here today. Now, one area I definitely wasn't going to miss was this, the barn find display. This is where all the crusty cars come and gather together for just 3 days here in Birmingham, and we are greeted with the silver and green Ford Puma here. This one's clearly been stored for quite a while, but it's always fun to see these cars before they get cleaned, worked upon and put back on the road, if indeed that does happen with this example. It doesn't actually look too rusty from here. They are quite prone to rotting around the back corners. Maybe this one has survived the worst of the metal moth, who knows. Rear engine Skoda here. Again, it's a great display this, and it must take some cleaning up at the end of the weekend. Pretty cool. Right, let's amble our way over here. This is a pretty rare old Daimler here. I think this is the Sportsman, I think. Is this the Sportsman? Conquest Roadster, that's it. Right. And it's got these very distinctive air intakes on the top of the bonnet panel. So this one is from 1954. Belongs to the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust down at Gaydon, home to the British Motor Museum. December 1971, presumably the last time this car was on the road. But what an inviting interior that is. Wrap around walnut veneer dashboard, leather seating, pre-select the gearbox, as was a thing on Daimlers for so many years. Yeah, so many gauges as well, many controls. The stereo, the Clarion stereo, looks like a 1980s fitting, but otherwise, well, it looks pretty much as it would have done in 1954. Same year as our little Renault 750 at home, but somewhat more sumptuous than our tiny little Renault. Right. See a replica of the Jaguar XJ13 over there, but this also Jaguar related. This is the SS2. Very dinky little car, this one. Full restoration is planned for this. 1933 Jaguar SS2. Wow. Plenty to do, but I know my youthful assistant follows the gentleman that owns this car. He is a coach builder, so he will resurrect this car over time. What a great looking little car. It's really small actually, but very, very stylish. It's a combination of ash clad in outer steel panelwork over the wood. Aluminium here. I wonder if that's original. Yeah, it's quite cosy in there. You might not want to have long legs if you bought one of these back in the 1930s. But very stylish car. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one done. And there's the bonnet is up on the SS2. Let's have a quick peek under there. Yeah, very nice too. Some cruise finest here. This is a Bentley T1, but not just any Bentley T1. This is the Mulliner Park Ward 2-door car. In this case, a convertible version of that car. Bit of work to do on this one. Oh dear. Still, it's only metal, but the angle of that rear wheel looks a little bit sorry for itself. Look at that. Oof, dear. Yeah, a bit of straightening out to do there, but these are really handsome Swiss cars. Yeah, very, very unfortunate coming together with something solid, but it's only metal, and if someone built that, someone made that by hand, so it can be reproduced, and that's what it should look like, something like that. Oh, we've got an Aston A30. Let's have a look at this one. PPW 398. Lovely little Aston A30 of the early 1950s. Radio Alto Douro. Douro is the river in northern Portugal. I wonder if it spent some time over there. Maybe this will tell us. 1954 Aston A30. Last used on a family holiday through Europe. Yeah, definitely would suit. Just preservation, just clean it up. If you've not seen the video I did on using boiled linseed oil just to preserve old original paint, maybe check that one out. But yeah, I mean, this one's got evidence of the kind of repairs that would have been pretty common. Pot riveted repairs in the sort of 1960s when these were just old cars just to keep them on the road. But it's actually more interesting for that, I think. You know, there's lots of nice restored ones around, which is great, but I think to see one that is super original, it's still got its original old cross-ply tyres.
That's what it is.
Not factory fresh tyres, it has to be said. But maybe put some fresh tyres, do any welding that it needs, get it running mechanically and reliably. But yeah, definitely keep it looking like this. All these stickers from its pan-European holiday trip all those years ago. There we go. Back in Portugal again, Porto. Crystal Palace. Yeah. Mrs. OCC used to run one of these many years ago, and she's also from the Douro Valley area of northern Portugal, so this will be her perfect car actually. December 1971, tax disc in the window, so How old was I then? Just over a year old. It's great that it survived. This would clean up. You could clean this up and get rid of the readiness of the rust. And it would look so much better. And then go over it with a boiled linseed oil. And it would be fine. Right. Okay, we've got Aston over here. It's a project and a half, isn't it? What's that, DB? Is it a 5 or a 4? It's a 4. Oh, very nice. All engine. What an engine that is. Look at that. What an incredible project for someone. What a car. These are really beautiful looking cars. Just go around here, try not to get in anyone's way. Let's have a quick peek inside. Quite a project, but what a rewarding project that will be. Right, where were we? Okay, let's carry on. Let's go this way, I think. The mighty Mercury over here, convertible.
You see that sign that says restoration workshop?
There we go, a Mitsubishi. Is that a Sapporo? I think. Let's have a look round the back.
I do think they chucked the shit.
Yeah, Colt Sapporo. There was a nice one of those up at Heskin Hall recently. Citroen BX Estate. I remember having use of one of those as a company car in my first job. Ford Cortina Mark V. Oh my god. Wowzers. Looks like someone's lifted this one up with strap through the door. Blimey. Oh. Bayek. I wouldn't fancy taking that on. This is a bit more my kind of thing. Austin 7 Ruby. Still with the same size engine as the very early cars of the early 20s. 747cc. This one is from 1935. Just shows they're still out there, these crusty, dusty old restoration projects. A little bit mouldy in there, so I don't think we'll get too close. Fun little project for someone. Hopefully it gets restored. Over here now we are in the 1950s, the mid 1950s, and we have a 1958 Morris Oxford, so just pre-Farina. The Farina with the big fins came out in 59, so this is one of the kind of the last of the old slightly dumpy shaped Morris Oxfords and Cowleys that were produced throughout the 1950s. Two-tone. The Oxford was a plusher version of the Cowley in many respects, with a 1500 engine. The Cowley I think was 1200. Floor change gearbox. Yeah. Nice thing, and of course you could get with a slightly longer front end the Morris Isis, which had a 6-cylinder engine. Yeah, that is really, really cool. I need to come back round the show after and take some photos of this lot, but for now I'm just concentrating on doing the video. Here we have a pretty desperate looking Jowett, the old Jowett Jupiter, the sporty Jowett, built up at Idle in Bradford. There we go, the Javelin Jupiter. There we go. There's the little A30. Jaguar S-Type. So these can either get 3.4 or 3.8. Which one's this? 3.8 S-Type. Nice car. So this was an evolution of the Mark II, kind of. Slightly different front. And this had the independent rear suspension, unlike the Jaguar Mark II. And this would be used as the basis for the Jaguar 420 with a slightly squared off front end, and also the Daimler Sovereign, which was the Daimler version of the Jaguar 420. Yeah. This is a 3.8. Right, we've got a Mini 1275 GT over there. It's a very popular display, this. Ford Escort Mark 1 two-door. It's one of the posh ones. A 1300E with whizzy paint and stripes down the side. Quite posh in there with a bit of wood for a bit of added glamour. Two-door car. Most of these in recent years have been converted into rally cars. I wonder if that's what will happen with this one, or will it stay as a 1300E? Who knows? Nice badging. Vinyl roof, all the mod cons of the 1970s. Still has its McPherson strut tops. These often rust away on these old Fords. In fact, this one is looking a bit second-hand. In fact, the whole inner wing is looking a little bit frilly, especially where the bonnet hinge mounts over there. This side is way better for some reason. I'm guessing this side was exposed to the weather, perhaps, but this side's really good. So we'll just stick to that side, I think. What's going on with this Morris Minor here? The Trans World Minor, 1957. Incredible thing. I'm guessing the name Trans World Minor might give us a clue as to what this one was used for. A couple of jerry cans on the back. Jerry cans so named because they were developed by the German army, I believe, in the Second World War. And then we copied the design, and for thereafter they were referred to as jerry cans. We're going the long way round the world. Bewley National Motor Museum. It's like a little while since this one went round the world, but wouldn't it be cool to do it again? Crossing the desert. Let's have a look at that information sheet. Just get a bit more info on what the story is with this car. So it's modified for a world tour in the late 1980s at the Leeds Miners Centre with a 1275 engine. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Who remembers these? The old Volvo 343 and 345. This was originally a DAF design. This is a 343. Yeah, this was a DAF design, then Volvo bought out DAF and put the car into production for themselves as a Volvo.
So I just happened to say
this one last taxed in 1993. Rare car now. And I think that is all the cars in the barn find display here at the NEC Restoration Show for 2025. It would appear that some Dexion has been fitted many years ago just to try and keep the shape something like right, but it's pretty desperate, this little Jowett. So what the future holds for this is anyone's guess. This is the Midland Vehicle Preservation Society stand. Rover P4, the Daimler. I think that's a Daimler Conquest. Real quality car. And over here, a Humber Scepter. Very similar body to the Hillman Hunter, the Hillman Minx, the Arrow series cars, but the Humber Scepter was the posh one with the vinyl roof, bit of extra trim around the wheel arches, and these very distinctive wheel trims as well. That's in great condition, that one. Now this area is a lot, mainly cars for sale, I believe. So we've got a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow 2 there, and a Daimler version of the XJ Series 3. But we won't spend too long around here looking at all these shiny cars. Oh, look at that. The Subaru SVX, that's a rare old thing. Very unusual car with very unusual side window treatment. So yeah, we'll just have a quick scoot around. Mainly it's the project cars and restoration cars that I'm interested in, and indeed the club stands. Saab Enthusiasts Club. This one's always worthwhile. There's an amazing little pickup. This was I think it started out life as a 95 estate. We saw this one down at Bicester Heritage last year, 2024. Yeah, pretty cool. That's a very good conversion. It's pretty convincing, to be honest. This is the back edge of the roof of the 95 estate, and it's been moved forward, and the back has been replaced with this load area. So that's, what a lovely dash. Very nice indeed. Is this a two-stroke or is it the early V4? Not sure. It's got LED headlamps. Otherwise, yeah, that looks great. But this is a seriously rare car. This is a prototype for the Saab 92. Incredible car, wind cheating design, very, very aerodynamic. So original. Still with the Swedish plates on. What a spectacular car that is. Car number 19, believed to be manufactured on 31st of May 1949. Resprayed 1954, then resprayed in 58. And that's the paint that's on there now. Maybe pause the video if you want to have a read about the history of this incredible Saab. Split windscreen. You can see how the shape evolved to become the 96 in later years. A much smaller rear window. Beautiful teardrop styling. Incredible shape. Rare car that is. So that paint's been on since 1958. Applied when the car was just 9 years old. What a beauty that is. I'll definitely come round and photograph that later. Here we have an incredible Saab 99. I know the owner of this one. Happy memories of the Saab 99 that my uncle used to have. He shoehorned the Dolomite Sprint 16 valve engine under the bonnet of his, with one of the carburetors poking through the top of the bonnet. I think it was registered WXF 149M, if I remember right. Yes, I know the owner of this one. He's got some very, very immaculate Saabs, 95, Saab 96, and this is a fairly recent purchase, I believe. Yeah, August 2024. 45,000 miles. What an incredible survivor that is. Look at all those old MOTs and road tax discs. That's really what makes a car like this, having the history, the old paperwork, such a treat to see. And here we have a flat-nosed 900 turbo. Happy memories of when my uncle had his 99 with a Dolly Sprint engine. Dad had one of the very first 900 turbos, a 79 900 turbo 5-door. This is a 3-door car, a 3-door hatch. And these early 3-door 900s were fitted with the Inca alloy wheel, which was standard fitment on the earlier 99 turbo. The wheels on Dad's 5-door were TRX wheels. These are the Incas. Lovely inside, beautifully comfortable cockpit, really clearly laid out, well thought out. That's what a dashboard should look like. No silly screens or menus to have to scroll through. Just everything easy to reach, easy to get at without taking your eyes off the road. And I did run a later turbo myself in the late 1990s. But it wasn't as clean as this one. This is a minter. This really is in immaculate condition. That really, really nice. Right, Saab Cabriolet there, a bit of TLC. Got even more Saabs over here. Some of the GM, the General Motors era Saabs. And we have a pre-GM 900 Carlson here. One of the slightly higher performance versions. They did the 9000 and the 900 Carlson. So named after Eric Carlson, the Swedish rally driver who regularly campaigned Saab 96s back in the olden days. Bit of a Pro 900 here. Well built cars, but they're not immune to rot, especially where the drive shafts pass through to the wheels. They're very prone to rusting around there. Apparently it's quite a complicated repair. Nice to see that done. This is a Saab Sonnet. This is a sporty Saab. The early ones were 2-strokes, the later ones were a V4 engine. Pretty cool car, fiberglass bodied, all of them left-hand drive. This is a V4. Can't really see in through the window. Let's keep going over here. A few more display cars over here. We've got an XK8, Capri 2-litre S,
30 lessons.
Ford Cortina, and Morris Minor Million. So a series of these were produced in this lilac-y pink colour to celebrate the millionth Minor being built. And it should have, instead of 1,000 on the back, it should have a million badge on the back. There we go. Morris Minor Million. I'm not sure how many were made. It's only a few hundred, I think. Super clean condition, look at that. Amazing. This corner is Volvo corner. We've got a 480 ES. Quite a rakish car. Take the badges off and you'll never really guess that it was a Volvo. Let's carry on here. And these Swedish, these plastic bicycles. Volvo 242, I think. So 240 series, a 2-door car. I don't think these were the 2-door cars ever sold here originally. I'm not sure if they were. It's the only 242 GT, oh there we go. The only 242 GT sold in Great Britain. I remember these when they were pretty commonplace. That big chunky front, very square set styling. 1980. Pretty cool. We've got another 240. It's been converted into a pickup truck. So that's certainly different. 700 series here, probably a 760 GLE. Had an estate one of those. Man, it was a 740 GLE, so I think that's a 4-cylinder version, but to look at is pretty much identical to the 760. Pretty modified 240 there. Volvo V70 Mark II. Used to have one of those, and the Mark 1 before that. Great cars, very comfy. Pretty poor turning circle I remember on the Mark IIs. And look at this Saab here, another early 99. Wow, 2-door Saab 99. So this will probably have the 1709cc engine, which was a development of the Triumph engine. Great cars. Very nice. You see how there are no sills as such. The door wraps around and tucks under the side of the floor there. And the idea was you wouldn't get dirt on your trousers once you were clambering in and out in the winter. And of course, in Sweden they have to cope with pretty bad weather for much of the year. So just one of the little quirks of Saabs of this era. And also, the ignition key is down there, and the idea was to get the key out you had to lock the car in reverse, which was a safety feature. So yeah, lots of little quirky design details on these old Saabs. That's what Saab were renowned for, certainly in the pre-GM era. Coming up with some pretty clever thinking went into their cars. I'll just get my bearings. Got lots of dealer cars over here, so we'll just have a quick look. Beautiful Bentley there. XJ40, Pagoda Mercedes. But I think just the other side of the picket fence over there is the auction area. So I think before I run out of batteries altogether, let's go and have a look in the auction area and just see if there are any interesting crusty gems in there. Well, Fiat Uno Turbo IE there. Clio Williams, lots of later classics, modern classics, retro cars, young timer cars, 911. But we will hunt out some of the older cars, I think. Lovely Aston there, needs a bit of TLC. Very nice. Quite the gaggle of Land Rovers over the back. But I see a Bedford CA. Just go past this SL, the 107 series. But look at this beautiful Bedford CA tipper truck. Ooh, that's nice. A few years ago I rescued a Series 1 CA tipper out of an old barn at the bottom of a field. Took a bit of getting out, but it was sort of the predecessor to this one. Very similar shaped body on the back, but the Series 1 had the split windscreen. Yeah, this is pretty bonny. This is a 1962. Such a rare thing. Very, very rare indeed. Of course the CA vans have the sliding doors, but these have hinged doors because there's nowhere for a door to slide into. So you've got little slidey windows with the Perspex block on, very similar to the A40 and the A35. Column gear change, you can probably just about see that in there. What's this Datsun pickup alongside? That must be equally rare, I would have thought. I wonder if that's always been in this country, or has it been brought in from somewhere a little bit warmer and drier, maybe Australia or even South Africa perhaps. Right, so let's continue our quest for the older cars. Volvo P1800S, got a Mercedes-Benz Ponton 220S saloon, late 1950s, beginning of the 60s. But look at the beautiful wooden dash in there. I'm having to speed up a little bit because of the battery situation. I've got a 289 V8 powered Ford Mustang there in a lovely shade of metallic blue. And this lofty old girl over here is a Morris. Which one is this? This is the Oxford, so slightly more upmarket equivalent to the Cowley. So what year is this? About 30-ish, 29, 30. Does it say? It's a 1928, there we go. Flat nose, 4-door saloon, estimate 6 to 8, no reserve. So that's the sort of car that could actually sneak through and go for not a lot of money. It's beautiful in there, the headlining, really nice car. People are always saying, oh, the market's dropped out for pre-war cars, and maybe it has, but the upside is it means you can buy beautiful cars like that for not too much money. And talking of beautiful vehicles, look at this Morris commercial. Wow. That does appeal a lot. In the livery of a company in Stoke-on-Trent. What a beauty that is. So what year is this then? Early 30th, 1933, Morris Commercial C-Type 2-ton drop-side truck. Estimate 10 to 12. That's a handsome son of a gun. You get plenty for your money with that one. It's wonderful. Right. We have a Morris Minor Tourer here in a very fetching shade of pale green. RS 1600i over there. Mark 1 Mini, the Morris Mini Minor. Still with its original registration number and the proper Lucas headlights. None of these modern repros here. And staying with minis, we have this early minivan. This is an Aston minivan. It's a fairly early one because it's still got the vent in the middle of the roof. Same vent as fitted to the A30 and the A35 vans, and used on the works race cars like the BMC, the Austin Healey's, the rallying MGBs. They all had these roof vents set into them. Yeah, it's in beautiful condition. You can see that being keenly fought over in the auction, I would have thought. It is a lovely, lovely example, it would appear. Right, let's carry on. There's lots of later cars over here. We've got an RS Turbo, Series 1 Ford Escort RS Turbo, and let's amble in this general direction. An immaculate VW Carman gear. There's cars stretching as far as the eye can see, so we'll just pan around. Go past this bright yellow, my favourite colour TR7 Capri Peugeot 205 GTI. It's a 1.6 on the pepper pot wheels. Very nice indeed. Dolly Sprint, MGB GT, Aston Martin DB7, very similar to one that went to Combermere just a few days ago. BMW 2000 Saloon. Now this is a bit of a rarity. This is the Neue Klasse BMW. Very rare. I photographed one of these. There's one of these mouldering away, not a million miles away from home. It's well beyond being in restorable condition, but it's a rare sight. It's a rare sight to see one of those Neue Klasses. W124 Mercedes Saloon there. 35S P6. Herbie Spec Beetle. 126 Mercedes SEC Coupe. So that's the 560, the 5.6 V8. An amazing car, really beautifully screwed together. Dad used to have a 500 SEL, the saloon, the long wheelbase saloon. Morris Minor there with the bonnet up. A very racy fuel filler on it. Incredible BMW here. It's a V8. Is it a 501 or a 502? 3.2 litre V8. What a beautiful interior. Look at the cream steering wheel and all the buttons and everything in there. That is really, I love the speedo as well. Let's just poke the camera in there. Won't go opening any of the doors, but it's just it's an amazing car. I remember seeing a black one of these at Goodwood many years ago. In fact, at one of the very early revivals, we saw one of these racing. Got a photo of that somewhere. That's not one Golf there. Yeah, that's identical to the sign I've got on the back door of Big Dodge, left-hand drive. And this is in fact the Dodge Low 661. What a monster. But a beauty as well. So what year is this? About 50? It's a 53 Dodge Meadowbrook. Let's have a closer look at that. Wouldn't say no to that. What's the estimate on that? 12 to 15. That's a lot of car. The only downside is you need a lot of garage as well. Chevrolet Camaro there. Porsche 928 S4. SL. P1800 ES. Another manual 3.5 there. Clio Sport. 3.5 Rover SD1, a favourite shade of brown, no shortage of MGBs, a little Suzuki, is this the Whiz Kid? I think this is the Whiz Kid. Yep, the SC100 Whiz Kid. I remember my French teacher at school had one. Great little car. And this Leyland Princess 2.2 HL, so this is quite a plush one. This isn't your basic one, this is quite a nice one. Quite well appointed, 1978. It's just over 60,000 mile estimate, 8 to 10. Wow. Certainly in incredible condition. Okay. Let's carry on here. Brooklyn, Bentley, another one here, Turbo RL. Right. Let's find a few more oldies just while we mooch around. Got MG RV8, Prairie Mad Mini, 205 there. Nice to see one that isn't a GTI. Super clean car. 205 1.8 GLD, 2 to 3,000 pounds. So I bet that'd go forever, that engine. And the Mercedes, one of the 126 coupes. And this Mini appears to have the engine in the back. Okay. An awful lot of engine in there. 1275 GT next to this Boxster. I'll just amble around. If I don't include your favourite car, I apologise in advance, but I've still got to go around the show again to photograph the interesting things. I always like to have photos of the interesting stuff. It's a little minivan project. It's got 1310 turbo, estimate 6 to 8. Little mini here with Sprite limited edition. Oh, Saab Turbo 900. It's another nice, fairly early example of the breed. A flat front 3-door 900 turbo. Same grille as the one Dad had. The very early 900s had two sets of grills in the top of the bonnet, whereas by this point in time this side didn't have any grills on it for some reason. Not quite sure what that is. Looks like a race prepared Austin A30 here. John Cleland, no less. Who remembers John Cleland racing the Vauxhalls back in the day? 1953 Aston A30 race car. That is pretty neat. Louvers in the bonnet, 15 to 18. Bit of race history with that one. It's not unusual to see one of these on its roof because they are a bit prone to tipping over, especially when racing. There's a little Mini. What is this three-wheeler over here? I'm going to have to cheat, I think, and have a look at the crib sheet on the window. It is a 1922 Morgan Runabout Deluxe. 22 to 25. Right, so I'll have a quick scoot up these two rows. MGB roads to here with the recessed grille and hardtop. Toyota MR2 Mark 1. Alfa Romeo Spider over here. Lovely looking little car. Jaguar E-Type Series 3, the V12 car. This is a fixed head version of the Series 3. What looks like a replica of the MGC, the GTS Sebring race car with the big flared arches. I know someone would like that as well. Another Escort here, very dusty Mark II Golf GTI. Slightly later Mark II Golf with the chunky bumpers. Sunbeam Talbot 90, I think. Yeah, Sunbeam Talbot 90 Project 2 to 4 the estimate. This was another car that was on the shortlist alongside that Wolseley 1550 when we were looking around and ultimately bought the V8 Pilot. I did look at several adverts for these, and the more I read about them, the more I was tempted by one of these. A real sporting saloon of the early 1950s. This one, 1951. Yeah, really lovely. I've said before, but Roots Group cars often have really nice interiors in them. Rear hinged back doors. Interesting glazing arrangement at the back there. Mini in many pieces. Got a BMW 5 Series and E34. Which one's this? 540i, the V8 manual. 6-speed gearbox. But that goes well. We have a pair of Citroen DS's over here. Incredible cars. I remember once on a holiday in North Wales going down the little side road, there was the Safari, the estate version of one of these, sat under a carport. It was there for quite a few years and then just disappeared. So where it ended up, I do not know. The estimate on this one is 10 to 12. There we go, sir. There we go. Right. R129SL. Got a Daimler XJ over here. Is this a coupe? It is. It's the two-door coupe. So it's got the 4.2 in this one. You could also get the V8. Twin carburetors on this. And there's the automatic choke, which is a bit of a fiddly thing to set up if it's not working right. I remember having to set mine up on a Series 1 XJ6 that I had many years ago. Really stunning car. Vinyl roof as standard. Quite a few people have painted their roofs body colour and got rid of the vinyl roof. And if I was restoring one of these, I think I'll probably do the same, because they do look super sleek with body colour roof. Right. More Jag action here. I have a somewhat project Mark II 4 to 6. Okay, now we have a Daimler Sovereign. So that's the Daimler version of the Jag 420 with the S-Type back end that I was talking about before. Another Ponton era Mercedes. So what year is this one? It's a 59 190B. That's the W121, right. This is the C123, so the two-door coupe version of the 123 series Merc, introduced in the 70s and made right into the 1980s. Very stylish car. Again, like those big S-Class coupes, beautifully made. As is this. I do like these big old saloons, I must admit. Pretty cool. Next to the XJ Coupe, we have Ford Capri, MGB Roadster, and another Bentley over here, Bentley T1. This time the regular four-door saloon version of the T1, so the Bentley equivalent to the Silver Shadow 1, the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow 1. Of course, these were built by Rolls-Royce. Bit of badge engineering going on. Bentley. Pretty cool car. I do like, I much prefer the shape of the radiator on the Bentleys compared to the Silver Shadow. Right, well that was a quick scoot around the classic car auction area. Someone's trying out the XJ Coupe for size. A bit more Mini here, there's that Mini Project. Essentially it's on a T-plate, but it's got the hole in the roof for a vent. But by the 1970s they didn't have a vent in the roof anymore, so it's either an earlier car with a later logbook or someone's retrofitted the roof vent into an early car, I don't know. And it's also got a wood dash. So there's a few mods on that one, but right. Let's amble off. I think we've seen most of the interesting auction cars. I apologise if this is a fairly long video. Now, which way is out? Let's try and find the way out. Lots of Mark II Golfs, they are popular. Subaru, BMW Z3, and a Z4 alongside. XK convertible. What's the estimate on there? 6 to 8. Ooh, I almost missed this lot over here. We have a Morgan. That would have been very remiss of me. MGTD. Right hand drive. Nice. British Racing and Sports Car Club badge on the front of that one. Another lovely Sunbeam. This is a Mark III drop head coupe of 1955. So this is related to the Sunbeam Talbot 90. But obviously the drop head coupe format. Lovely. These little quarter windows sort of wind up like that. But a real quality car. And again, a very agreeable place to sit. Look at that wonderful original trim. Beautiful car, that. So what's the estimate on that one? Very nice car. Estimate 3 to 5. Older restoration, no reserve. That's very nice. If that went for 3-ish, it would be a very welcome addition to the garage, but perhaps fortunately we don't have any space. Right, here's an MGTD E-Type Series 3 convertible. The auction itself is taking place over here in front. The white DS is just under the auctions at the moment. 7.8 at the moment. Right. Okay, let's carry on. Let's carry on. 7.5 at the moment. Right. Okay, let's head back off into the main show itself. Plus, I think it's time for a butty. There's a few interviews going on the stage with YouTubers, apparently. I don't know who do that kind of thing. But, yes. Very bonny Morris Minor 1000 over here. I'm suitably fortified now with a selection of sandwiches, so that should keep me going until the end of the day. There's that pretty mad Renault Avantime. Pretty bonkers looking car, this one. Can't imagine them making anything like this ever again. Pretty bonkers car, pillarless side windows, very airy, big opening roof as well. And over here, an immaculate Vauxhall Viva HB Estate. What an incredible car that is.
That's what you do later today. You remember to put the same profile. Great.
Over here we have the Austin 10 Drivers Club stand. A variety of wonderful Austins, including this Austin 6. Good to see some pre-war cars here. I almost missed this lot. 12.4 Harley from 1933. So it would appear we are in the Austin and Morris area. The club stand over here, we've got a TR. Alfa, one of the 105 series Alfa Romeos over here. I was wondering where the Austins and the Morrises had disappeared to. The Morris register here. There's a little Morris 8 van. One of these that lives not too far away from us. I wonder if it's the same one. It's certainly blue. Kind of looks familiar. Very neat little van. This is a 10.4. Morris 10.4, mid-1930s. Carry on around here. Morris 8 Tourer. It's a Series 1 Tourer. Another Series 1 Tourer over here. Very bonny little cars. 4-seaters. There's also a 2-seater version as well. And here we have a slightly later Morris 8 Tourer, this one based on the Series E. And that saloon that we were looking at, what seems like hours ago, had the headlamp conversion, but this has the original 6-volt headlights that were originally fitted at the Cowley Works. Right. Now Alvis, we did see the Alvis and the Allard section before, but some of this I definitely did miss out, including this rare Morris Oxford MO pickup truck, which if memory serves I think possibly came in from abroad somewhere. Very rare car, rather pickup. Here we have a Morris Minor van with added side windows and period roof rack. Nice bit of roof rack action there. It's a split window as well, so that makes it pretty unusual. You can see the correct bonnet without the side strip. The saloons have a side strip, but the commercials don't. Interesting seating arrangements in this one.
popped in the air there again. I did juggle and
Morris Minor van. This one looks super original. Wow, that is incredible. 1965. It's a proper survivor van, that one. There's a restored one alongside it. But before I forget, I must head over this way because I just caught a glimpse of a very interesting Riley RM. A regular RM saloon here, 1.5 litre car. But over here we appear to have an estate version of a Riley RM. I've never seen that before. Lovely speaker grills set into the back. Proper little GB plate there. Wow, I wonder what the story is with this. Lift up tailgate.
For 50 years now.
Definitely a new one on me, this one. Riley RM EE estate car from 1955. Oh, so this was converted into an estate car during a rebuild in fairly recent times by the look of it. Body was in poor condition, so they decided to keep the car and rebuild it. They've decided it should be rebuilt as a steel-bodied estate car. Wow. What a beautiful job. That would easily pass for a factory job. The way the window and the lines just follow through. It's really very, very nice. What an incredible car. It's an RM chassis here. Lots of work in progress. Yeah, I'm really tickled to see that Riley RM here. Right, let's carry on over here past the Morris Minor vans. We'll see what else is over here adjoining the trader section, which is just over there. So there's that Packard that we saw ages ago, and here this is an Aston. This is an Aston van, so it's the Aston badge version of the Morris Minor van, just to keep Aston dealers and loyal Aston buyers happy. But apart from the crinkly grille and the badge, there's no difference between this and the Morris version. I had thought the A40 Club were here, but maybe I'm getting confused with the big do in November. A couple just walked past, own the maroon Jensen CV8 that appears at quite a few of the events we get to throughout the year, including Turnhill Hall. All manner of items, old and maybe not quite as old as they initially look, are on sale. Lots of reproduction signs. This will take a day on its own just to get around here properly. Sadly, I'm only here for the one day. Definitely some interesting bits and bobs here. It's a front end off a Herald. It's a Jaguar Taco. Okay, well, the final battery is almost out, so I think we'll probably wrap up this tour of the NEC Classic Car and Restoration Show for 2025. I hope this one was of interest. I think it probably went on a little bit longer than I originally planned, but well, it's just one of those kind of shows where you just keep walking, you just keep talking until either the batteries or your voice runs out, and I'm nearing the end of both, so I think it is time to call it a day. So thank you so much for watching this particular video. I'll include links to similar videos at the end of this one, and I will wrap this one up by looking at this TVR complete with BMW engine. Wasn't expecting that, so thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of thing, and there'll be loads more videos along very, very soon. So bye for now.